Pledgers 2020. Washington, D.C. is broken and we all intuitively know it. The waste, the fighting, demonizing, and general gridlock are something none of us truly desire. The question is, how do you fix that? If you could take the best of both major political parties, reject their bad and only keep their good, without the need of having a third party, and without them uniting like a kumbaya campfire, would you accept that? I would. This solution could happen quickly and quite easily, and it avoids the negatives associated with all the other alternatives, such as gridlock or dominating the opponent or uniting the parties, all of which are not good solutions, as with bad compromise. Imagine the best policies for our nation actually being implemented, not just talked about by politicians and promised in their campaigns, but actually implemented into action after the legislation gets passed, because enough politicians are committed to getting things done over prioritizing or over their priority commitment to their party or their own personal gain in their careers. Imagine if we the people had our collective voices heard in D.C., advocating common sense, common ground found through common sense for the common good of our nation. This better way starts with we the people, as do all the answers in life. Voting in enough pledged politicians from any party to broker power between the extremes, the negatives of the extremes, so that we are truly represented. I want you to get that before I continue. That's enough people that are pledged to common sense principles to outweigh any votes that would cause anything other than good common sense solutions to be voted into law. When we the people control Washington through such representatives, as I call them, pledged politicians, and it's even the way our founders intended, they will pass good bills that improve America and don't cost us an arm and a leg. What are some of these pledged politicians' principles that distinguish them from status quo Washington, D.C.? Number one, mentioned it before, common sense policies. Our books detail them in graphic detail, what is common sense and what is pure stupidity. Principle over party or personality. This isn't about one person. This isn't about a charismatic figure. It's not about a party whooping up on the other one. It's about we the people forcing D.C. to do rational things. Thirdly, the least costly campaigns possible. I'll let you gel on that for a minute. The least costly, most effective for the cost political campaigns from any pledged politician. And also a willingness to serve only one term if that's how it turns out. They're not looking for a career. They're looking for good change for our country. You can read the actual pledge that I would be asking them to make once our website is online after this election at AmericanAnswers.org, and it'll show you exactly what we're talking about. Most importantly, there's something called the Pledged Politician's Profile. It goes over major issues that face our countries, and it requires politicians to check what policies they're for, so that when you vote for them, you know exactly where they stand. No wishy-washy, no backtracking, no double talk, no lying, no flip-flopping. This is what I believe. May not be what my party always agrees to, but that's where I stand, and that's where my conscience stands. And I will pledge to use common sense and my conscience when I run for office, whoever they be, whether they're incumbents or newcomers. Some basic priorities of pledged politicians include the following. A good economy. I'm not going to go into detail here. We have these detailed in several of our 12 books, but a good economy. Nobody can argue that we need that. It's just how you get there, and we can discuss that later in our books. A strong national defense. If you do not have a nation, if you do not have the military to defend your nation, you don't have a nation in which to have a good economy. A world-class education system for all Americans as the foundation for that economy. Anybody left behind in this competitive global world will be in poverty, because businesses are hiring from all over the world nowadays. So we need a world-class education system. Smart energy policy that realizes we do need to move toward green energy, but we don't need to abandon the other sources. We need to make them cleaner. We need to deal with the technology as it is today and as it will be tomorrow. And we can't make policies based on tomorrow's technology until it's cost-effective and it's online. Immigration policy that does not reward bad behavior and allows only those people into our country that our economy needs. We don't want anybody coming here taking American jobs and leaving Americans stranded on the street corners because their government or their businesses founded in America were unpatriotic to them and could care less. And finally, good foreign relations, encouraging peace and prosperity among all our allies and all nations, seeking harmony, but at the same time putting America first. That's our need. Every other nation does the same thing. We shouldn't be capitulating to other people's needs as opposed to America's number one. A lot of our tweets address this. If you go to Twitter and look at USA number one, we said that way before some of these political candidates that have made slogans out of that concept. And as an example of why the system, our system, political system, needs an overhaul, here are some of the major negatives of the three main political positions that cause our politics to remain stifled and ineffective and do nothing for decades. First off, and in my books I detail the positives and negatives of everybody. I don't just stick on the negative, but here are the negatives of liberals. They often waste money, spend other people's hard-earned money, and overhelp people, crippling them or making them lazy and dependent on the government. That's the key negative of liberalism. The key negative of conservatism, on the other hand, too often they support people earning as much money as humanly possible with little to no emphasis on how their excess can help society instead of selfishly just helping themselves. Helping society with their many problems. They do cost money to fix. And you'll notice that such concepts as the Giving Pledge are rarely touted by a true conservative. It's a very wonderful concept for people that have more than they need to make it to the end of life, and it also happens to comport with the Bible. Then there's the moderate side. They always get a bad rap for having few core convictions, compromising or making bad deals, standing for little, falling for much, and generally being seen as wishy-washy or depending on whatever the political winds wherever they may be blowing. None of these descriptions are pleasant. None of them move our nation forward in a constructive way, and the people deserve better than what they're getting. We have 3 political books that detail all of these common sense policies and what isn't common sense policies, and it describes the political process in its current state and where it got how it is and how the tricks that politicians use to deceive you when they campaign affects your ability to think clearly and who you should vote for. So I hope you will go to our website when it's online, AmericanAnswer.org, and find our books there. Finally, I hope you will pledge yourself to being a committed voter that is informed and intelligent when you decide what people, especially in 2020, which is the year we're pushing this initially, will be committed to being a pledged politician, putting principle over party or person for the common sense and common good of our wonderful nation, the number one nation in the world. To learn more, as I've said, we have Twitter accounts, we have a Facebook account, we have probably 7 Twitter accounts. We also have 12 books coming out. Mainly go to our website, AmericanAnswers.org, and I do hope to see you there. Thank you for listening today.